he does a dance, which he does it in various ways in the fourth of the Cremaster series, where he tap dances, and there he's been transformed. He's transformed himself into a goat-like animal that's indigenous to the Isle of Man, where a race is taking place, but he does a tap dance there, and so it's full of transformations, in which the entered apprentice is transformed into an animal, is transformed into a murderer who does this incredible, to me, incredible dance, the Texas two-step, and there's a lot of symbolism in that. And at some time, I think at that time, Norman Mailer was working on the next work that Matthew takes up as his project. Norman had written a novel 10 years in the writing called Ancient Evenings. And it's about, at least at the beginning, about the death of Osiris and the wife and the husband and brother of the great woman, goddess Isis, and how Osiris is really torn apart into 14 pieces, and a book that is dense with knowledge of Egyptian archaeology, which I suppose makes Turin once more a very natural place to hold this conference, because of the presence in it of the famous Museum of Egyptology there. At the moment, Norman told Matthew that he would like him to read this book. It was a failure, actually, as a novel. People couldn't stand anything quite as dull as the amount of archaeology and mythology that Norman Mailer had packed into his novel. In any case, he said, maybe you can do something with this. And Matthew told me that he had wanted to do something again with his great composer, Jonathan Bepler, in some kind of a stage performance. He's working on that now. And in between these was another work in which takes place in a Japanese whaling boat, and he and his partner Bjork undergo a very bloody ritual, which they slash the flesh off the bones as part of this marriage ceremony, and in effect are transformed into whales at the end. He made that into a movie, and he wanted to go back to something of a very different sort, and so he took up Norman Mailer's project, and he writes me that he is at this moment far more interested in that, in the Executioner's Song, in the Ancient Evenings, for a kind of opera, which only, and it'll be an opera which in effect is written by Bepler, to be sure, but where the plot itself is the dialogue that takes place between Osiris and his great-great-grandfather in a necropolis. And the great, I must say, attention paid to the procedures of mummification, at least the beginning of ancient evenings takes place in a necropolis in which Osiris, or the Osiris, in the Osiris, I don't quite know what the relationship is, that is, he encounters his great-grandfather in the necropolis and explains to him something of the rituals that they're going to have to undergo to find their way to, is it paradise? I don't know that. At any rate, Matthew said he's really more interested in that at this moment than he is in drawing restraint, which is the whale hunt and marriage. And I thought that when I got there, I would be able to discuss with him and get some insight into the general notion of the kind of transformation, the Guggenheim into the temple of wisdom, the ascent as the ascent through an order of stages, presumably culminating in an encounter with an individual who's achieved greatness as an artist, and where he, as playing the role of the entered apprentice, can aspire at least to that greatness as an artist, that somehow there is the embodiment of wisdom as he sees it. He thinks Sarah has achieved it, and as an artist aspires to achieve it himself. There'd be so much to talk about in two sets of transformative artists, Warhol and Matthew, that I'm really sorry that I can't be there, so forgive all this lore. I'm as bad as Norman Mailer, stuffing this, what's meant to be a keynote address, but have a really great conference, and consider me, since we're in a spiritual world, as with you in spirit. Many thanks.